Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So today I'm here to finally do my impressions video on the 2019 MacBook Pro 16-inch. So I've already taken it out of the box. I've been using it for a little while, and I didn't do an unboxing video, and I'm going to show you why I didn't do an unboxing video, because it's pretty much pointless. When it comes to unboxing, there's basically nothing in here. There's a power cable and a power brick, and this little thing that I'm assuming has an Apple sticker in there. So there wasn't really a whole lot of point to make y'all guys sit through a video of me going, ta-da, I took the box top off and there's nothing in it. So, but what I do want to do is do like a first impressions thing, because I've always been a PC user. PC, laptop, computer, all that stuff. I've been building them for like 25 years. So this has been an interesting experience for me so far, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. So before we get any further into talking about the MacBook Pro, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, I appreciate you being here. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell so you can get updates on new videos when they come out. Now, let's take a look at the MacBook Pro. All right, so one thing I want to talk about real quick is specs. So I got the bare bones model, which is perfectly fine because I don't need the like $4,000 model that they have. So one important thing that you need to know about the 16-inch MacBook Pro versus the 13-inch is that it has a dedicated GPU. It has its own video card in it. Why is that important? Well, a video card is what takes some of the load off of the regular processor and allows it to process and render video and other things like that. So if you're a content creator, if you're a video editor, if you're a graphic designer, having a dedicated graphics card is really, really important, and that's why people want these. Can you get that in a regular laptop? Yes, of course you can. In a regular PC, I have a Asus Republic of Gaming laptop that has a GTX 1650 Ti Max Q. 6 gigabyte card, which is bigger than the one in here, and you can get one of those for $1,000. So you may not necessarily need to get a $2,500 laptop. You can get something much cheaper, but if you like Mac, if you like to do all your work on it, I can tell you that this right here basically does everything that you need it to do. Now, if you're like a high-end production person, you're doing a lot of 4K stuff, yeah, you might want to get a larger one that has more RAM and has the better dedicated video card, but I just want to let you know up front, the 16-inch has a dedicated video card versus the 13-inch MacBook Pro has integrated graphics, definitely not as powerful. So if you're on the fence and you do some of the things I mentioned, like video editing, content creation, as opposed to just using a laptop, then you may want the 16-inch model. So other things on here, you can get two different processors on these. I got the i7. You can get an i9 if you want to spend the extra money, but an i7 6-core Intel processor, perfectly fine. This one has a base model 512 gigabytes of PCIe storage, SSD. That's really good, it's fast. 16 gigabytes of RAM is the base model as well. So I went with the base model, everything. They're $23.99 MSRP, but you can find deals. I got mine price matched at Best Buy for like $200, $250 off, which was a pretty common deal. And also, if you're a military or a veteran, you can get it through the Apple website and you can verify with your, I can't remember what it's called, something with the service checker on there, and you can get 10% off at Apple as well if you're military or veteran. So, yeah, 4 Thunderbolt USB spots on it, as opposed to the 2 that's on the regular MacBook Pro. So if you get a 13-inch MacBook Pro, I think if you pay more money, you can get 4 on it, but the base model is 2. The base model on the 16-inch is 4, which is really important because you need to be able to plug in all the stuff, and you can just pop the power cable into any one of those spots, and it works, which is surprisingly nice. So it's got the touchpad, it's got the AMD Radeon Pro 5300 with 4 gigabytes of RAM. That's that dedicated GPU I was talking about, and that's one of the things that drives the price up. 16-inch Retina LED backlit display. It's 3072 by 1920. So it looks really nice. I was really impressed. The brightness is good on it. It's a sharp-looking laptop, and the speakers are fantastic on this thing. It has like real stereo speakers on it, and they sound really good. Also, it has a built-in webcam on it for the camera, so they call it, I think, FaceTime camera, FaceTime HD camera. So here's the funny thing. The FaceTime HD camera limits you to 720p resolution. And it's one of the most confusing things when it comes to the MacBook Pro, because I'm like, why am I spending $2,400 plus tax on a laptop and you're giving me a webcam that's the same as like the selfie camera from like a 10-year-old computer? So it looks good. I mean, I can't say that it looks bad, so I don't want to necessarily ding it from a functionality perspective, but it just doesn't make any sense to me why this is a pro laptop. I guess they figure that no matter how pro you are, you only need to do Zoom meetings at 720p. But I use this for my streaming, for my live stream and all sorts of stuff. Works really well. And one other thing I need to tell you about is the microphone in this thing is absolutely amazing. So it's so good, and people were giving me lots of compliments. And normally I use a Yeti Studio mic, and I used this, and I had my Yeti Studio mic plugged in, but I didn't realize I didn't have it turned on in the settings. So it was using the factory one that's built into the laptop, and people were like, man, your sound is so good. And then a buddy of mine got the same laptop, and I was listening to him talk on his, and I thought he was using his blue Yeti Studio mic, and no, he was using the same built-in mic in the laptop too. It sounds amazing. So that really is a nice thing. It's a really nice treat. Other than that, like I said, I think I mentioned this, but it's got 16 gigabytes of RAM. You can go way higher than that. You can go up to, I think, even like 8 terabytes of storage. But here's the thing with this. You probably don't need all that. And if you look at it, $23.99 base model, going up well over $3,500 if you get the max model. I mean, it's like almost an extra grand just to throw the 8 terabytes of storage instead of the 512. So another thing that's really nice, I'm just going to mention this on the side. Let me grab this. So I use this for content creation. I'm recording this video with my phone right now. And a lot of people are like, how do I get stuff like, from my phone to my laptop? Because I don't use an Apple phone. Normally I use a Samsung. I have one of these external SSD drives. It's a 1 terabyte. All I do with my Samsung phone is plug this directly into the bottom, file drop it over, and then plug it into here and direct drop it. It works like a champ. So when I first got this, that was a concern I had with being able to move media over. And people are like, oh my gosh, it's such a pain in the rear end. Works out just fine. Now, the other thing that the laptop doesn't have is an SSD card reader, an SD card reader. And what I have for that, I actually have this multi-card reader. It's by Alki, but I can plug in all sorts of things, actual USB slots. It plugs in with the USB. I'll link this in the drop down if you're interested in picking one up, but you can put in your SD card and everything. And both of these work perfectly fine with it, and they work at the same time. So really nice. And I also plug in my USB Yeti mic when I want to do voiceover stuff. So anyway, that's enough talking about the specs and stuff. Let's actually go ahead and look at the laptop now. And I did some B-roll and stuff, but mostly this is just kind of a thoughts and impressions video on the laptop and some of the things that it does, and if it's some information if you're thinking about getting one. So let's go ahead and look at the laptop itself. All right, so here we are with the beautiful 16-inch MacBook Pro. Now, like I said, 16-inch, really nice display, Retina display, all that great stuff. Now, you can see that it's high contrast, and the color saturation is really, really good on this thing. I'll zoom in a little bit just so you can see better. So I've really been enjoying using it, and this is a ton of workspace. Now, if you're used to using a laptop, usually they're like 13-inch screen, 14-inch screen, 15-inch screen. The whole 16-inch screen, plus it's not overly gigantic, and it's fairly light for what it is. I mean, you got the Apple thing back here. Let me show you here. So I've got the USB-C plugged in over here. Ta-da. So you've got 2 USB-C over here, and then you've got 2 over here along with the headphone jack. So surprisingly, they killed the headphone jack on the phones, but not on the laptop. And very easy to open up, not difficult at all. Ta-da. So there's that. But, oh, and one thing I forgot real quick. This right here is a fingerprint sensor. So you can use that to unlock. You can use it for passcodes, and you can do it whenever you turn on your computer after you type the password in the first time. But you can unlock your computer that way, and that's a really nice feature as well. So really, really like that. Yes, so beautiful display, nice light. You can see that the bezels are really thin all the way around it. I believe this is running Catalina. I have not upgraded it to the developer version, the beta essentially, Big Sur, BIGSUR, which is their new operating system upgrade. So I might get around to that later, but that's nothing that I'm gonna mess with right now. I'm just using it as it is. So you got the toolbar down here that has a lot of your common stuff on it. You can drag and drop things down here. I'm not the best with Mac OS. I've been using and building PCs forever. I mean, when I was like 2-3 years old, I was switching disks out on my computer because it didn't even have a hard drive. So this is kind of new territory for me. I used a 2012 MacBook Pro for about a year, like my last semester of law school and then studying for the bar. I had picked one up, a 2012 in like 2014, and I used that. But here's where all your menu is for your apps. You click on the launch pad down here, and then you can see it pulls everything up. You can see I don't have a whole lot of exciting things installed on here. But you can see here there are some games. You can install Steam on here, and some games on Steam actually work with Mac. So that's kind of cool. I've got Alien Isolation, which is a fun game. Totally love it. And then I have Cuphead as well. So there are some things that you can get on here, but you can see it's very clean and crisp, nice big icons. It reminds me very much of an iPhone, except with a big screen and a giant keyboard. So down here we've got the speakers, which I had talked to you about before. You can see little holes, the grates here already. The sound on this is really, really good. And of course, that's not going to translate really well over to the video, but what I can say is that the sound is surprisingly really, really good. Also down here, you have the toolbar. So there are no function keys, and I want to talk about this for a minute. This is a touch bar here. So really cool. And you can spread that out. This is what it looks like normally. So you've got brightness. You can change stuff around as far as the desktop. Ta-da. You can go to your dock there, whatever it's called, Launchpad, so you can see the different apps. Other touch controls here for the music. You've got the Siri button, and then we also have the volume here, so you can go that route. Now, if you don't, oh, sorry, brightness is over here. I don't even know what this is. Maybe this is the backlight for the keyboard. Yes, so, and then you can minimize it and it goes back down to that size, but it's really cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you something. So let me pop up, we'll open Chrome here real quick. So inside of Chrome, once you're in an app, you get different features that pop up here. You can hit that for the bookmark, you can add a tab, you can refresh, you can go back. So it's some really cool stuff, and then you can just click on this so you can search in the URL. Let me see, let me open up something else. I'm gonna open up Final Cut Pro just so I can get another app open. So when you're in Final Cut Pro, there are different sets of things here. And one thing I wanna tell you that's also important, Final Cut Pro, I'm on the free trial right now. When you pick one of these up, it comes with a 90-day free trial for Final Cut Pro, which is actually really nice. It's been very helpful for me because I was using Filmora Wondershare before, and I've had to learn how to use this, and it's actually not gone that bad. So once you get into the app, you can see all these other different features here. You can trim, you can reverse stuff, you can switch over to the pointer. There's just a lot of different things. You can use this for the grab function. So, and one thing that's really weird about the Mac though, is if you use Final Cut Pro, whenever you're moving through the app, well, as you move it, it's like going through really fast and you can hear the voice stuff. But let me go ahead and let you hear the speakers real quick, just so you can get a feel for it. And I've got some, here we go. I've got some copyright free music. So I'll go ahead and turn this on. Of course, it uses QuickTime. Ta-da. There we go. So, go ahead and adjust the music. You've got the slider bar. So you can turn it down, and this is down, way, way low, but you can turn it up loud. And like I said, I've been really impressed with the speakers. All right, so that's it for the speaker demonstration, but hopefully that gave you kind of a good idea of what it sounds like. It's really, really good. So yeah, that's just some of the things that you can do here with the MacBook Pro. Now, in addition to that, here's something that PC users are going to be really, really happy about. I'm gonna explain something. The control button is not the same as the control button on your PC. It doesn't do anything that you want it to do. The command button is basically the control button. So if you use hotkeys all the time, if you hit Control C, it doesn't really do anything. But if you hit Command C, it still does copy. If you do Control V, it does paste. If you can do Command Z, it does undo. And then they also mix other shortcut keys in as well. So Windows likes to use hotkeys in here. Like, let's say I want to set it up so I can do a voice recording in Final Cut Pro. You hit Command, Option, and then 8, and then it pulls it up, and you're automatically ready to go whenever it comes to recording audio. So it's very, very good, and it can be very complex. But once you kind of learn some of the ropes with these things, then yeah, it really, really works well. Now, some other stuff here you're going to notice with Mac OS is up here in the top left. If you're a Windows user, you're used to having the buttons maximize, minimize, and close on the right. It still irks me that they're on the left over here, but I mean, it's just how they are. You've got the green one, the yellow one for minimize, and then you can also close it out as well. But if you hover over it, it gives you other options. So you can tile the window to the left side of the screen, or you can tile it to the right side of the screen. It's very, very versatile. And then when you go up to the top, you get the command bar. So up here, I think it's called, I don't even know what it's called really. I just go up here for the different stuff. So this is kind of like the menu. And this right here, it's important if you're first time using Mac OS and you've never used one before, it's going to be really difficult for you to kind of figure things out. But just know that whatever your primary app is, when you go up to the top, that's what it's controlling, and it says right here, Final Cut Pro. So it may seem like it's a global toolbar, but it's really for whatever app that you're in, and then you can go through the different options. But what's also nice is all these things over here, it shows you the different shortcuts, the hotkeys, and things like that. So it shows you what button combinations. So I mean, really and truly, if you were like a master at these hotkeys and stuff like that, then you could do so much more than just copy and paste and undo. But that's for another video. One other thing that I want to talk about is the Trackpad Mousepad that's down here. You can see this is gigantic. So when you're using this, it works just like it does whenever you're using a regular computer, a regular PC. Instead of the right click in a regular PC to get to your options on the screen, you do a double press. So you can see right here, if you want to make like a new folder or anything like that, you just press with two fingers at the same time, and then it pulls it up. And something that else is also helpful is cleanup. That's basically Apple's way of organizing. So it took me a little while to figure that out as well. I was like, cleanup, but we're going to delete things. And then you can also use it to scroll. So if you use two fingers at the same time, you can scroll down, you can scroll up, you can scroll left and right, you can even go back. So it's really nice that it has this touch sensitivity and these touch features enabled with the swipe gestures on the touchpad. So I like that a lot, and it gives you a ton of functionality. And like I said, look how big it is. I mean, it's like the size of my hand. So it works out really well, and I like that everything is just done by pushing down on the touchpad as opposed to having dedicated buttons. So this is really nice. Now, another thing I want to talk about is the Magic Keyboard. So they got rid of the butterfly switches that were on like the last 2 or 3 generations, that there was basically no key press. It felt like you were basically touching something that was hard. They just weren't pleasurable to type on, and they also had issues. If things got underneath them, if one of the little butterfly wings underneath got broken, then it was basically you had to replace the whole keyboard. They went to the scissor style prongs that they have underneath it, so that's supposed to be better. And then the touch and the press distance is so much nicer. I actually picked up a 2013 MacBook Pro, sorry, the 13-inch MacBook Pro 2019 version, right before the new ones came out with the Magic Keyboard, and I typed on it and I really, really hated it. So I took it back and I was like, oh wait, I was gonna get the 2020 13-inch, and then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and step my game up so I can do real video editing with it, and I got the 16-inch. And I gotta tell you, typing on this keyboard is magical compared to the previous keyboard. Is it the greatest keyboard in the world? It's not a mechanical keyboard, or it's not like a regular desktop keyboard, but at the same time, it is really, really nice to type on, and it's probably the best laptop keyboard that I've ever used. The key press distance is really ideal. It's got nice tactile feedback, very responsive, and very, very enjoyable to type on, especially, like I said, compared to the previous models. So anyway, so that's about all I have on my first impressions and my walkthrough of this MacBook Pro. I tried to show off a lot of the stuff that's important to me that I use as a new Apple computer user. So hopefully this has been helpful for you, showed you some of the stuff. And then also, if you're an aspiring content creator, I showed you some of that stuff as well. But yeah, it's really expensive. Of course, it's like $23.99 plus tax just to get in the door with the 16-inch model. But I find that it's very much worth it, and I've been using this more than my actual desktop, which is a really high-end gaming rig. So I've been very happy with this, and especially being able to use this, it's a one-stop shop for me. I have my desktop in my room, but having this in here, I just come in here, I sit down in my little studio area, and I do everything right here, and that really makes it worth the price. All right, so that's all I have on my first impressions and kind of walkthrough of the 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro. So super cool. I've really been enjoying it, and I think that it's totally worth the money. It's just a lot of money. I'm gonna show you one more thing real quick. This is the power brick. This sucker is pretty gigantic, but what's also nice is it has a really, really long, it's like a 6-foot cord on it, so it reaches really far. And it's nice, one little piece. It's not like regular laptops where it has the module in the middle, you have the power plug that goes to the wall, then you have the other cord that goes to the laptop. This works really, really well, and it has some nice distance on it. So that's all I have. I know this is a little bit unconventional when it comes to the normal type of videos that I do, but hopefully if you've watched my other videos, you like the information that I present, you like the way that I show you the different products. Hopefully this is something that's helpful for you. That's why I made it. Yeah, I don't really get into making a lot of Mac stuff, but I think that the laptop's really good. I've really been enjoying it. I paid for it with my own money, and I totally think that it's worth it. I mean, my normal desktop, I've got a Ryzen 7, I've got a 2080 RTX Super graphics card. I mean, 4K monitor, everything. And this right here does everything that I need it to do just as well as that does. So yeah, it costs you a pretty penny, but if you use this for work, this is not just like a casual laptop that you want to sit around just for browsing the internet. You get a MacBook Air for that. This is for work. The Pro model, it does mean something because you're using this ideally for work, for a hobby, for content creation, for graphic design, so many different things that it gives you this seamless transition. Of course, the ecosphere as well. Whenever you're using your iPhone or your iPad or your Apple Watch, it all works. So if you get a text message on your phone, it'll pop up on here, and you can even use this with your FaceTime and your phone account. So really cool stuff. Now, that's all I've got on this video for the MacBook Pro. If y'all like this, maybe I'll make another video with some other stuff just so I can show it off a little bit more. If you're more interested in this content, then please let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Also, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free, go down to the comment section, leave comments, ask me questions if there's things that you want to know, and I'll get back with you like I always do. So that's all I've got. I appreciate you being here. Thanks a whole lot for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.